What up? What up? Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Grit and Grind Show. I'm Daniel Ball, and it has been a whirlwind of a weekend and a craziness of a week trying to get back to balance in life. You know, once you go on trips and it's action packed, I mean, obviously, you guys know the action this past weekend was off the chain. And so, coming back from that, coming down off that high, it's been tough. So, nonetheless, we are here on a beautiful Friday, getting ready to usher in the weekend, and we're going to be joined by Sam Krivit, the director of athletics for the newest United Grid League team that's going to make their debut in 2026, the New York Wolves. I'm excited to get Sam's story, talk to him a little bit about, what's the timeline, what's the to-do list, and we're going to talk about this season and playoffs and all that good stuff. But before Sam joins us, we got to plug the sponsors. We got to talk about the people that allow us to keep the lights on and keep doing what we love to do. The Mental Game Performance Coaching. Whether you need mental performance coaching, you need health and nutrition coaching, you need just general life coaching, go to tmgperformancecoaching.com. They got you covered. If you want sunflower seeds, only place to look is the best brand alive. Chinook seeds, 8 flavors, mild to wild. Go get your favorite bag. They got original. They got smokehouse barbecue. They got cinnamon toast. Yes, I said it, cinnamon toast. And if you're crazy, take some cinnamon toast, smokehouse barbecue, mix them together, and you can thank me later. And Old Dominick Distillery, experience 150 years of tradition in the heart of downtown Memphis. Bourbon, vodka, whiskey, gin. They got you covered. Go to olddominickdistillery.com, pick up your swag. They got t-shirts. They got hats. They got wines, they got wine bags, they got all the spirits that you're looking for to, have a great summer, but also to usher in the fall. But with that, the bills have been paid. We got to welcome onto the show Sam Krivit, the director of athletics for the New York Wolves. Sam, my brother, how we doing today?
What's up, Daniel? I'm good. How are you?
I am blessed. I tell everybody that asks me, I appreciate you asking, but once my feet hit the ground every morning, I am blessed. So
Yeah, man.
we are in a good spot, man. I get to talk grid with you. We get to talk about New York Wolves, and you get to get the message out. You get to tell people what's going on, what's the happenings with the Wolves. But obviously, it's a long journey. It's a story, and we're starting from the beginning. So co-founder and CEO of Fight for the Fittest. You're director of athletics now of the New York Wolves. You're a PA. You're a busy man, very, very busy. But obviously, fitness is something that's very, near and dear to your heart. You're very passionate. So talk to me about this fitness journey. Were you a kid growing up in sport and that's where you find fitness? Or is this something that as you become a PA and you get into like the science part and the medical part, like you go, oh, like I'm fired up about this. So tell me about your story.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, my fitness journey actually started as I got older. I did play sports as a kid, but I kind of went through my trials and tribulations and moved away from athletics and sports. Um, I'd say I really found fitness again, probably in my late 20s, and as I was approaching the time where I was going to have kids, and realized that I wanted to be fit. And then I got sick for a little while. I don't tell people about this so often, but whatever. Um, I had a pretty rare neurological disease called transverse myelitis. So it's like, no, no one's gonna ever heard of it, but unless you've heard of it. It's like MS for the spine. It's like a one-time attack. So this happened right as my daughter was born. So it was about 12 years ago, and I got pretty uh, bad. I gained a lot of weight because of the medication that I was on, and we never really figured out why it happened, and it never happened again, and I got better. But that kind of set me on track for, like, all right, this is health and lifestyle, and fitness is a number one priority. I tried to compete in CrossFit, but beyond the local scene, I was not good enough to compete. And then each time I'd be like, all right, I'm going to be a master's now, I'll be 35, I'm going to be 40. And each time I was like, yeah, this is going to be my chance. And then I realized I was still going up against the best in the world in each age group. So I'd say I was, competitive from a fun social standpoint. But fitness, health, lifestyle has definitely been driven from a family standpoint. As you know, I want to be able to be, kind of a role model for my kids.
That's crazy, man. Like, what are the odds that you get this myelitis? Is it a disease? Like, what
So
is
it's
it?
one. So the diagnosis is 1 in a million, which is
You are one
strange.
in a million, brother. Like,
Which is strange because my father-in-law had it too.
wow.
And maybe my mother-in-law. And so the way it went down is I had these like weird symptoms where I numbness under my chest, numbness in my hands, numbness in my thighs. And I work in neurosurgery, so I work in a neurology kind of realm, and I was able to notice it right away, get it an MRI within like days, go see a specialist within a week, and probably was one of the fastest that it gets recognized because it's not a painful symptom. It's just kind of a strange neurological symptom that progresses or doesn't. So I got it taken care of really quickly, and it was a very um, eye-opening standpoint because I had to go on a lot of medication that really messed up my body for a little bit. It was pretty wild. I was like 200, 205, 210 pounds, probably about 20 pounds heavier than I am now. Just wasn't healthy. And there was not really anything I could do about it. It's just kind of a weird freak accident. So we move on and we move forward.
Yeah, it's amazing though, like when you look at something like that and then you kind of it just puts everything into perspective. You're a dad at this point. You got a career that you're starting. It just you kind of count your blessings a little bit, but you're thankful in the fact that being in the realm that you were able to recognize it quick. And I don't know if you knew like your grandparents had this same thing, and like you knew that this could be a possibility. Um, but man, like things like that can be huge setbacks, but it seems like you were able to take care of it pretty quickly and move forward. What exactly then is fight for the fittest? Like, how does that become the next little thing that you take on, this next endeavor?
Yeah, so that's actually a pretty wild ride. So my friends, Haley Queller, she's a competitive masters athlete, and her husband Sean, they went to open their second gym, a new gym in Rocky Point on Long Island. And I was like, oh, it would be great is, let's run a competition there. And that's really all it was. I was like, let's run a competition for individuals. It got delayed a little bit in 2019, 2020 as everything got delayed. And we go to kick this off and we have like 100 people show up for this competition. And it was great. We had three workouts. We had one going outside, one going inside. We had three things going on one time. It was a smash. Everybody loved it, and me and my wife, Kelly, we ran it together. Um, and we looked at each other at the end of this, like, "Yeah, let's do this again." She's like, "Oh, you sure? This was fun. It was kind of like a one-time thing." I was like, "No, no, let's do this again." And we did it again. We did like a pairs competition, uh, you know, 6 months later or whatever it was. And then people really got into it. The community kind of got behind it, and we started to run these competitions annually out of gyms. So we ran a few at this gym, and then we moved to another gym. We're not gym owners. Kelly and I are not gym owners. She's a teacher. I'm a PA. So we used or rented space, equipment, etc. And we kept running these competitions. So last year it got too big to hold in the gym. It just was too many people. So we partnered up with the college here, which is Suffolk Community College, and we rented this arena, Suffolk Federal Credit Union Arena. It's always a mouthful. Um, and it's this huge arena, 60,000 square feet, basically the size of a football field, an indoor track. Um, and we decided to like, listen, we're gonna just push our chips all in, and either this is gonna work or we're done. Like, one of the we can't run three events a year in gyms forever. This is exhausting. So we're doing one big event, and it was great last year. I think last year really put us on the map. Uh, Out of that local competition realm, that people started to hear about us outside of New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. That people were starting to come from, Virginia, Indiana, different places. People taking plane rides. And now this year we're running it again. And instead of having just teams and pairs, we're having teams, pairs, individuals. Last year we had 265 athletes. This year we're at 410 already. We got until October. So two different events that are just going to just continue to climb. So we're stoked about the progression of it. It's really, a project of love, for the amount of time that myself and Kelly put into it, the hours that we're probably getting paid, $10 an hour at the most. Probably it's more like $1 an hour because it's something that we're doing because we've enjoyed it.
It's
The community's great about it, and it's become a project of kind of love out of it. You know what I mean?
yeah, a labor of love for sure. What's the end goal? Like where do you want it to go? Do you want this to be like a I don't know, like a CrossFit certified like place, or
No.
you just want it to be more like a festival, more like a Wadapalooza type atmosphere where you have a lot of different things happening?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, my opinions are pretty clear on this. Is I wouldn't. It'd be hard pressed to ever become a CrossFit event,
Right.
any sort of semifinal or anything like that. I think that this event is for the community. Out of the 400 athletes that we're going to have there, 400 plus, we're going to have probably 40 elite athletes. So the main target audience is not the elites. I do want elite teams to come and have an opportunity to compete that they don't have anymore because the landscape has changed. But this is an event for the masses and the community, not the 0.1%. Um, so I want it to be something that the Northeast can be proud of, and that's really what it comes down to. Is somewhere in that Wadapalooza, Metcon Rush kind of feel where it's just a lot of fun for a lot of people. They get to show off their talents. It's a celebration and a competition at the same time. So I don't know what an end goal is. I'm just going to continue to ride the roller coaster and see if this can maintain viability. I mean, after this year, if it works, then we'll just keep going.
But it seems like whatever recipe you and your wife are doing, you're doubling the amount of people that are participating each year. So
Mhm.
it's working. Just keep
Yeah,
that
the
bottom
recipe is I think of a crazy idea, and then my wife has to figure out how to make it work. So she's the opposite of me. Like she's behind the scenes. You're never gonna see her on the Instagram unless I force her to do something. But she's the organization, she's the analytics, she's the budget, she's everything like that. I just think of big ideas, write workouts, and plan events, you know, and I'm a little bit more involved in the community in that part. She is a little bit behind the scenes, so it's a good combo. But it drives her crazy, probably.
I mean, it works though. It clearly works. So let's transition to grid. Let's talk about
Sure.
some grid here. Um, Obviously, MPGL, back in the day, like when do
hmm
you find out about grid? Is it when it's United Grid League and this season and this opportunity comes, or have you been a knower or a follower of grid from its inception?
I think I was aware of Grid. I think like the New York Rhinos was like prior to my CrossFit, but I've heard about them. I knew people that did it from this community um, that compete up here. And then I think I kept track of it while it was Florida Grid, just because I would probably watch it for its viral content, like what the hell's going on. And then once it became the United Grid, it became very interesting to me. I had no intentions of getting involved at all until Jen called me, which is probably going to be your next question, like how'd that come out?
Yeah, I mean, how obviously, if you talk to Jen, the passion she has, the love that she has, um, for a lot of things, but
A lot of things.
specifically grid. Now it's to me the conversation like is really like one way. Like she tells you and she fires you up, and like it's very hard to tell her no. Um, but how does that conversation go when she approaches you about, is it a specific role, or is it just like, hey, this is what we got. I need you to be a part of this.
Yeah, it's funny. You kind of seem to have gotten to know her pretty quickly. She's fired up about this. She's fired up about everything that she chooses to do. So if she's like, she's got, tunnel vision. She's like, I'm going to do this, you know, get out of her way because she's going to do it. And I like that. I like that motivation. I actually, I match that well. So she worked with our events. So she was sponsoring our events and she was working with the community. She would sponsor teams, bring people out to our events. She's going to be at our event this year at Fight for the Fittest, and she's doing like kind of the hype behind the sscenes, stuff that she naturally is good at. She called me up and she said, "Hey, I got something going on. I'm going to be doing something with the Grid League and maybe a New York team. Would you be able to help me?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I'll help no matter what. Whatever you need. Like I'm all fired up. Anything that's good for the community, I'm in for." And then there was a second conversation, which was, "No, I really want your help. Can you build me a team?" I was like, "Oh, that's more than just like a little help." I was like, she's like, I want you to run this team. I want you to be the director of athletics. And do you think this is something you can do?" And I was like, "Hell yeah." You mentioned earlier, am I busy? Yeah, I'm a pretty busy guy. I have a couple jobs. I run a Fight for the Fittest. I have a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old that play a lot of sports and a lot of activities. I was like, "Yeah, sure, I got time." So we just threw that. And my wife was like shaking her head. She's like, "What are you doing?" But it's too cool of an opportunity to not get involved. I think that's what excited me about it most is that this seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. Grid league, the matches, the teams, they seem like they're having a lot of fun. Every athlete that I've spoken to and I asked them why they do it, they have a lot of fun. So I told her, yeah. I jumped in, all 10 toes and kind of just dove into it. And we hit the ground running pretty fast.
Yeah, I think outside of the fun too, like you seem like in the way that it should be is that your community is very important to you. And building your community and being a positive attribute to the community, it's important. So, when you look at this opportunity, were you looking at it as this is another way to throw something positive into our community?
Honestly, yeah. Also being a part of it, like I do enjoy being a part of the community. I do enjoy, hooking people up together to do events to make, I have these two young ladies that came to my competition. I hooked them up because they needed partners, and now they're like greatest of friends. I do enjoy being a part of that. Um, I do enjoy being involved in it. And I do think the Northeast is underserved in regards to competitions. Like you listen, you go down to Florida, you go down to North Carolina, there's competitions every week. And I think in New York, Northeast, it's very expensive and very competitive. And we have a certain attitude towards each other and stuff like that. So I do think that there's a lot that the Northeast can show, especially in Grid League, and show out a big time. So I saw a big opportunity here and nobody really knows about it up here. Like I really have had to tell people about the Grid League. I've had to show them matches. There's such a market up here for the United Grid League to attack from a fan standpoint, from an athlete standpoint, that is so much craving. Like these athletes are so awesome. They're looking for an opportunity to compete. So that's what got me excited about it.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard not to be excited when you look online or on socials where you're seeing athletes do incredible things. And it's hard not to just keep scrolling and keep wanting more. And so now you get to insert yourself into this organization and be a part of it. So like it's hard not to be fired up and excited about that. Obviously there's a lot of upside and benefits for the community, but you
Hmm.
know, from an experience standpoint, this is an opportunity that, is just you may not ever see again. So you almost have to jump on it just to be a part of the experience and a part of the ride. Um,
Some
now
things
that
just
you're
feel right. You just got to
yeah,
go with it sometimes.
yeah, I mean, and now that you're a part of this organization, what is this long it seems like there's a lot of time between now and the start of next season, but really like it's going to be
Nah.
here before you know it. What is the to-do list? Like what is on your list? Like what is the most pressing all the way to like things that are like leading right up to the start of the 2026 season?
Yeah, I think before I get into that, like I gotta paint a picture like of the situation that we're in. Like I'm used to dealing with unique situations. The way we run Fight for the Fittest was unique, is because most competition event organizers own an affiliate. They tap into their affiliate for help. They have the equipment. They have a place to run it. So I'm used to being in that situation where I'm kind of the outsider,
Right.
and that's kind of where I am here too, right? So I'm not an ex-grid league player starting a new team. That seems to be have a pattern of where teams have come from, right? So the Houston Bandits and different teams have split up, different teams have moved. And I'm not an owner who used to play. I'm not a coach. I'm not, so we have Jen, who is an owner. We have myself, who is the director, or I kind of GM, whatever you want to call it. We are in a very different situation than these other teams have started up. And somehow these teams have started up and they've already had, 5 to 8 ex-grid players already on their team.
Right.
Um, But the league has rules, right? So the league has rules about re-signing periods, just like any other professional sport, right? Re-signing period followed by free agency. So we're not waiting for that to start recruiting rookies, people that have never played grid before. We're allowed to do that. We can't speak to anyone who's an active grid player because that's a violation, and we won't. But we're not waiting until September, October to start. Our season actually starts tonight. Off season starts right now, and our
Right
off
now.
season is the meat of what we got to do. So it starts with recruiting players. I mean, this is going to be a team that is going to be predominantly rookies. We're not going to be splitting off from another team or pulling from another team. Maybe we'll have a few veterans that reach out at the free agency signing period, but this is going to be, you know, probably 12 rookies, 12, 13 rookies, and if we're lucky enough to have 3 or 4 vets, that'd be a win in that regards.
Yeah. When you when you were looking for a coach, was that like a key piece of Lexi being able to come in? One, she's played and she knows, but two, she's got to be able to develop rookies. Was that something that was a sticking point for you guys to hire her, or
Mhm. So
her playing
no,
experience was enough?
the the sticking point for hiring her twofold. I mean, you met her, so
Yes.
you know what kind of character she has, and how bright of a young lady she is. What we needed, the most important thing with her, was someone who knew the game, who knew the rules, who knew how to manage a roster. Um, That's the most important thing, because I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be on the sidelines. I'm not going to be calling substitutions. Um, I kind of see myself as, I know you're a big baseball guy. I've listened to your show a lot, and
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
kind of see myself as like the old school baseball setup, where I'll build you a roster, but you go manage it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's why it wasn't crucial for me to have a coach that knew how to develop players, because I think that will happen naturally. These athletes are driven. I have an eye for finding talent, and I also have the resources to talk with talent that's well known. I've always been able to pick out these diamonds in the rough, like Lexi. Um, I've always been able to spot people, whether in my competitions or other competitions, 4 years before they become elite. Um, and that's valuable because I think we're going to be able to develop these players together, me and Lexi. I think we bring a very interesting dynamic when we talk about stuff, because I can tell her the goods and she can tell me which ones she needs, which ones she doesn't need, how we're going to build a roster, what is important, what's not important. And that's how we built these tests out for this combine coming up.
So let's talk about that. Obviously, finding players and finding these this talent. Um, you've got to do a lot of different things, and obviously the first thing is you have a combine. So talk to me a little bit about the combine, where it's at, when it's happening, what athletes that come can expect when they show up for this combine.
Right. So what the combine is it is a way for us to gather data on players that are interested in doing this. And this is available for anyone who's not in the grid league. Um, I'm running it through the same website that I use Conquest Events for my competitions, because my familiarity with it. It's free to sign up. You have from tonight until August 16th to complete as many tests as you would like. And you can submit a video with your score to a blind leaderboard. So this information is not going to be available to other teams. or to each other.
Very
So
right.
you're just going to be able to put up the best score you can. You could retest and resubmit as much as you want before the 16th. So it's going to be kind of like an online competition. It's going to have that same feel. Now I've had people reach out and be like, I can't do an aerial. I'm like, all right, don't do that one yet. Like, don't do that workout. So do as many workouts as you can do. Um, and there's a wild card one in there. I put that one in there. The last one is show me what you want, like show me what you can. If it's not on the test. But the tests are a good barometer, I think, for us to get some initial data on people. We have a nice long list of people that want to do this. We have a nice from the second that Jen asked me, I had a list in my head of like 20 people I called within like the next 2 weeks. So we have people that want to do this. That helps a lot. Now it's just finding the right type of people with the right mindset that want to do this. And then we're going to also have a couple in-person throwdowns. Like so, tomorrow we're going to a gym on Long Island, um, at Black Bear Athletics, and they open their gym up to us. And we're going to just have anyone who wants to come down and throw down their workouts. Like that's not an official score. They can post their video from that day, or they can repeat it in 4 more weeks. But it's an opportunity for us to get to know people. And then we're going to do another one August 9th at CrossFit Union Square in Manhattan. And if I can schedule another one, I'll probably do another one. The team's going to be from, all over. It's not just New York. This is all over the Northeast.
Um, so tomorrow, Black Bear. Um, I've heard of Black Bear before. I think there's a guy that's pretty close to Black Bear that knows a little bit about grid. Um,
Yeah, I've known Mike for a long time through our competitions. He's opened up his gym for my competitions in the past. Mike is signed to the brigade, so we'll have no conversations with him about the New York Wolves. But he was nice enough to let me use his space.
no, I think that's great. Obviously the plus side is that he's a great dude. He's a good athlete. He knows what you're going to need to run the event that you're trying to run. So having that space, having that connection, and that's important.
And he's a better, as good of a person he is, he's a better coach. Like the what I've only seen this a few times of what he means to his members and his athletes, and how much he genuinely cares for them is very rare. He goes to their events, he's coaching them, he's working with them one on one. A lot of it's just because he loves to do it. He genuinely loves to coach, and that's what's always attracted me to him is how much his athletes love being around him. And he's not like he doesn't sugarcoat it with them. Like the first time I saw him around his athletes, I was like, "Holy crap, you're gonna like scare people away!" But they love it because he's honest. He's very very honest with them, and no, he's a great dude.
Yeah, absolutely. So tomorrow, what can people expect? Are you going to be running tests? Are you going to be doing like mock, like not like full grid races, but maybe
Yeah.
like simulations of pieces of it?
Yeah, so tomorrow is just gonna have gym availability so people can come in and do their tests. We're gonna have a media crew on site so we can, start gathering some content and interviewing people. But it's he's opening up his space. So we have our workouts posted, which is, whether it's aerials or um, a certain amount of back squats for time or a little mini triad, a little mini echo. They're going to be able to do it on their own. I'm not telling anyone what to do. They can come in, do as many workouts as they want, as little workouts as they want. And I'm just going to kind of hang out and let them have that space to themselves.
What do you have like a rough estimate how many athletes you're expecting to show up?
I think we're going to have, a good overall do the online combine. I think we'll have probably somewhere between 30 and 50 athletes do the online combine. Um, I've started conversations with a select handful that I really would love to see on the team, but they still have to show their data. Everyone has to do their tests. There are some games athletes that might be interested, but we're not having that discussion until after the games. Um, at the combine tomorrow, I think we'll probably have like a dozen people.
It's good. It's good. When you're a realist, like when you look at athletes um from tomorrow and from online submissions, like how many players do you think you'll get? or is it a number or that you're looking for? You're just, whatever quality you get, you're happy to have that.
Um, I first thought when we started this that it was going to be the latter. That all right, we're going to get some good athletes, and then we're going to have to take what we can get. I think we're going to have a really good situation where we're going to be able to choose the best athletes for our team. I
Nice.
never really thought we'd get to the point where we would turn people away, and that's unfortunate. But I have plans for that. Like, if you don't make the team and you're a great athlete, you're going to be practicing with us. Like, you're going to be part of our community. Like, there's no reason to not be involved because you never know when your name gets called. The season is very interesting and very long. There's single match signings. You could be grooming someone for 2027. So we're not going to close our doors to anyone that wants to be a part of our community.
That's
I think we'll get a solid 12 from this.
that's good. Are you looking for anything specific? Like, I'm gonna first look for strength specialists and really like, or I'm gonna look for just utility players that, not that that's what you're looking for, but this is the most important thing that we need right now is to have a good solid group of utility players or
Mhm.
body weight specialists. Like, when you build and construct this roster, at some point you got to go, all right, we got to have these people because they're difference makers.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I've spoken to, and the other coaches and managers like have been super helpful. Like they have been no problem getting on the phone with me and talking shop. Um, and that's pretty respectful. Like they genuinely care about our success. So, I've had some people say, "Oh, you gotta make sure you get your hyper specialist. Oh, you need your players that can do everything. Oh, don't forget strength." And it's like whichever one topic you kind of get to, you can be like, "Oh my God, that's so important." I think for us starting is we need to have players that can do everything. Um, you know, yes, the hyper specialists are extremely valuable, but I need to make sure we can do the first 90%.
Yeah.
And we can do that well. My trick, what I want to do is I want to find those great utility players that could also do the hyper specialty stuff. And I think that's when you find a lot of flexibility in how you set up your roster. You're not pigeonholed to this person has to do this movement when you have a couple people that can do it. And you can pick and choose your spots of when to deploy them. So, I mean, yes, have I talked to strongmen? Have I talked to strength specialists? Have I talked to bodyweight specialists or true gymnasts? Yes. But I do want I want studs that can do everything. And that's the nice thing about CrossFitters is that they're very adaptable.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have history in whether it's Olympic weightlifting or strongman or traditional weightlifting or gymnastics. So did that answer your question or not really? They're just going a circle
No,
there.
I mean, I don't think there's any like set philosophy that you have when you go to look for players. Obviously, you need strength, you need utility, and you need, the body weight specialist. But it's hard to go, all right, we're just looking for body weight specialists right now because if a strength person comes knocking on your door, like it's hard to they meet the criteria. It's hard to be like, no, we're just looking for body weight specialists right now.
I
You
mean, and
know?
listen, like I've watched a lot of matches.
Mhm.
I'm still catching up from this weekend. I've only gone through everything once from this weekend, so I still got to go back through it and kind of look at it again. Um, when it's not live, it's a little bit easier just to kind of get through the matches.
Yeah.
Um, Strong isn't always better,
No.
So I saw some stuff this weekend on the ladders and different matches that it's like, oh my God, that person's strong, but doesn't mean they necessarily move the weight well or fast. And
Right.
everything has to be fast on the grid. So I think, you know, just because the person's a monster of a strength pusher doesn't mean they can get through that ladder as fast as someone maybe who could only lift 80% of them. So there's a lot to be said about um, people that are just pure strength athletes. I need people who move well, and then on the other spectrum, I don't want people moving too well. You have some of these people that move so well that I want them to stop doing that and move faster. So you
Right.
have to find these people that just know how to go fast. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's what blew me away this weekend about a guy like Wes Kitts, Olympian, weightlifter, very good. But he also moves the weight much faster than some of the other weightlifters in the league. And I don't know if it's because he has a background in CrossFit or what, or he's well versed in how to move, but he moves so fluidly, but he also, when he needs to move fast,
He
he
turned it
can.
up. Yeah.
Um,
I think that with him, he's such a good, they're all good movers, these Olympic weightlifters. But I think his strength numbers compared to what he had to lift are just so insane. So I think with Wes, which I'm a fan of, I definitely like watching him. I think the weight was just stupid light for him. Where you have some of these females where the weight's still, they have no problem hitting it, but the form and the technique and the setup, they're just still too much in that habit. Oh, there we go. Fico said the answer to the question. He
yeah,
knows the grid speed. Yeah, you
yeah,
got to move fast. You can't get to the barbell and do your routine setup, which Olympic weightlifters have a routine for every time they set up the barbell. It's the same exact thing. It's like a basketball player taking a foul shot or a golf player taking a swing.
yeah.
You can't do that. You gotta grip it and rip it.
Well, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. In Tampa for week 2, they had the sandbag ladder,
Hmm.
and the sandbag, it's not, the weight wasn't heavy, but there's a technique. It's not very sexy to pick it up and get it over that yoke. And we talked about how sometimes weightlifters with their background of like form and technique struggle with those odd objects because
Hmm.
like there is a technique, but it's not as sexy as the barbell movement that you would set up and get prepared for. You almost got to put yourself in a bad position to get the bag up. And so, I can see where speed, sometimes can be a hindrance for these really well moving, players. Um, you talked about Dallas, you talked about getting through the matches. Obviously, you're doing your research, you're watching the matches, but this season so far, let's talk a little bit about that.
Hmm.
This season, what has surprised you, or what is something that you didn't know, but now that you have this role and you're looking with a different eye, like what are some things that you're learning about the sport?
I think that coaching is paramount, opposed to going to CrossFit or a CrossFit competition. The coach is kind of just there to hold your bag, and hold your snacks. And they're so important in regards to programming and getting you to that prepared for that. But the coaching at the event, the strategy, that's what blew me away is how important those substitutions are, having the timing right and the transitions. Um, I think if you get a team full of pretty freaking elite athletes, they can all do the movements, but where are you going to cut the milliseconds out? Like, how are you going to move better? Are you going to take the squat clean and go right into the squat? Or are you going to pull it up first to a top part and then start squatting? How are you going to pass the barbell off? How are your substitutions organized? Are your athletes ready and prepared for the substitutions? And is your coach ready to change it on the fly when someone's struggling? Like, what's your plan B? What's your plan C? Do you already have all that mapped out? And I can tell the difference between the coaches that have that and the coaches that don't. And I think
Yeah,
it's
it
really important to have a coach. Not to not, I don't want to, listen, I'm not knocking, but I think it's super important when I spoke to Lexi is I want you to be a coach. I know you can still play, but I want a true coach on the sideline. I did not want a player coach for our first year.
yeah, it's tough. Even if you talk to the athletes that do coach, they'll tell you firsthand, like, hey, it's a lot.
It's
It's
a
a
lot.
lot to manage it all. Um, but yeah, the coaching part of it, and here's the crazy thing is, even when you look at a lineup or you practice a particular race and you go, man, that is great. You have to be very objective and go, how do we make that better?
Mhm.
Because being great is cool, but, like, if you can put together a lineup with that can make it faster or better, like, that's what you have to do. And so, like, I think, like you said, having those 2nd, 3rd, 4th different options clear in your head and being able to have a route for every scenario that might pop up is key. And you're right, you see it the coaches that have those plans, and you see the ones that don't. Um, but when we look at where we're at in the season, we're moving into the playoffs. You've got, 3-1 Brigade, the number 2 in the West, taking on the number 1 in the West, the Sharks. And then you have in the East, you have the number 2 Breakers taking on the number 1 Lions. Of those 4 teams, like, you know, what who do you think takes I'll just be blunt. Who do you think wins it all?
I mean, the easy answer is the Sharks. I think um, talent always shows out. I like the Brigade a lot. I think watching them, I think they have a lot they can still improve on. Like, I don't think they've peaked. Like, I watched their matches and they still made mistakes that they can fix, and mistakes happen. And what defines you is what you do after the mistake. So they left points on the table in that match versus the Sharks. So they can, they can take them. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat them if they can fix some things. Um, I don't really know enough about the Lions. I don't feel like I've watched them as many times as I have the Brigade, the Shark, the Breakers. Um, the Sharks are just dangerous with their specialists. They have people that can do everything. The women are super strong. The guys are great on that team. I think the talent is probably a bit overwhelming, uh, and probably a coach's dream. As long as they're keeping everyone happy, that's kind of when I've spoken to athletes. It's like, oh, if people don't get enough playing time, they get upset. I don't know what the dynamic is there, but they seem to be doing just fine. So if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with them. I know Lexi loves the Breakers, um, and they are an attractive team. It's nice to see them doing so well. But the strength of the Brigade and the strength of the Lions the Sharks, excuse me, is pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, it's that's why this past weekend was great because you didn't see it from my eyes. I didn't see teams going, "Oh, we have a playoff spot, like let's just kind of go through the motions and we'll keep everybody healthy." No, like you saw 2 teams or 4 teams that wanted to win those respective matches. They wanted to
Yeah,
be the regular season champion of that conference, and that matters. And I think you saw the Brigade come up, short, and you saw the Breakers come up short. But when you talk about experience and being in a playoff type atmosphere, those 2 matches were playoff atmospheric matches. And I think that bodes well, especially for a team like the Breakers, who they were not a good team last year. And now you're
hmm
putting them in the playoffs in a position with rookies that have never been in that magnitude. So like having that experience last week and having a little bit of adversity, I think it fares well for them. And I think for the Brigade, it just keeps them hungry to want to go out and beat the Sharks even more. Um, on the flip side, obviously, the Sharks are 4-0 for a reason, and the Lions are 4-0 for a reason. So you can't necessarily count those teams out either. So I think it's going to be a battle for sure, and it's going to be a lot of fun, in August watching all these teams do their thing. Um, but
anyone can be beat. That's what I tell my daughter.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I think, in grid, in a matter of like milliseconds, like that's the outcomes of races. That's really the difference between someone having a fault on a rep and not. And I think if you want to win it all, you need to be perfect or damn near perfect to do it. And it's going to be tough because in order to win it all, you're gonna have to win not 2 matches in consecutive days, but 2 matches on the same day. And
Yeah.
that's a different animal and a different beast. So we talk about roster depth and balance. That's where this comes into play is when you have these 2 matches on the same day in a matter of hours. But Sam,
Yeah, I also don't think you could look ahead. Like,
oh no.
you focus on the first match that you have that day. Your rookies are no longer rookies. Once you've made the playoffs, they're not rookies anymore. And I think all these teams showed that there's no let up. The fact that they went as hard as they did on Sunday, um, that was pretty impressive. Like, that showed me that all these people were killers. That they what they. I always say, like, I like winning, I do. I like winning, right? You like winning? But I
Oh,
freaking, sorry, excuse my language, hate losing. I hate losing more than I like winning. And because I know when I win, I'm happy. I celebrate for a day. When I lose, it kills me for weeks. So that's what they didn't want to lose. They did not want to lose. They wanted to fight for that, and that's the kind of players that we want on our team.
yeah. I think to me, I think that you said it best. Like I think that is the toughest part about the season is that you can't just in 1 week's time, you know, avenge your loss or a bad match. You have to wait weeks and it just
You gotta
sits
sit.
with you. And God, like I couldn't do it. Like it would just drive me absolutely crazy.
I mean, and
Um,
I might be putting my foot in my mouth, but like, you know, we've had people speak to us and they say like, oh, you try to compete the first year and try to, like F that. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. It's just not in my nature. Like oh, we're here to have a good time. We're gonna make the best out of it. It's a learning. First week is a learning experience. F that. Like I want to win. Like I'm not gonna do anything unless that's the goal.
right.
I'm not saying we're going to win. Like that's not. I mean, there's just amazing talent in this league, from the top down. But there's no intention to play, unless the goal is to win.
So I'll ask you this last question before we wrap this up. All
Yeah,
right.
buddy.
And you you're mentioning it, so we'll go along the lines of winning. All right. And I won't say winning a championship, but I'll say next season, if the New York Wolves compete and have a chance to win a championship, what is the reason that they've done that you guys are able to do that? What have you done?
Okay, that's a nicer way to ask the question.
I mean, I could have said it when you
Yeah,
guys
I
won
get
it all.
where you're
Like,
going.
what is the reason?
Yeah, I mean, you would have got me in trouble with that because listen, I'm from New York. I got a big ass mouth, and it's gonna rub people the wrong way sometimes, but I think most people will appreciate the honesty. When we win games, when we win matches, when we win races, it's because we have a team, and that's something that Lexi truly believes in. We have a team that believes in each other and that is not selfish. I don't need the best players in the world on our team. I need the players that are going to give us their best and they're going to be fully committed. And when we win, whatever it is, a race or a match or a playoff game, it's going to because we built uh, a team full of amazing athletes, but a team that cares about each other and that wants to win for each other and that's willing to do what it takes. And if that means not racing, and something they think they can destroy in, they're going to have to just trust the process because there's going to be, when it comes to game time, there's one voice. There's one person in charge, and that's Lexi. She's in charge. It comes to the race, I'm backing up. You'll see me probably at the highest bleacher I can get to. Um,
Mhm.
and that's what we're going to have. If people that are willing to be selfless, and that's what makes a great team. That's what's so awesome about the Grid League is it's so different than anything else in CrossFit. Even the team of four in CrossFit, it's not like this. This is a true team sport.
Yeah, I mean, it's unique in and of itself. You have the ability, and you saw this multiple times in Dallas. Men competing against women in the same race. Like
Oh
you
yeah,
don't have, it's so awesome. And the women kick the guy's ass
because they're
most of the
better
time.
at it. They're because they're all
Every,
better than us anyway. So I
yeah,
mean,
of course.
the dominant species just give into it. But listen,
We're
man.
just
I mean,
lucky
it
they
is
let
what
us
it
be
is.
very
We're gonna have amazing talent on our team. We're gonna have amazing people. So why not? Like I'm not conceding anything. I'm not just saying this is a learning year. We're gonna have amazing talent, and I think we're gonna surprise people with some of these people that are rookies.
well, Sam, I know you guys got a lot of work, but I'm looking forward to the 2026 season already. I'm ready to see what you guys put out there on the grid. I'm ready to see the uniforms. I'm ready to see the team. I'm ready to see you guys throw down. But I appreciate you coming on, taking some time with us.
Yeah,
Before
buddy.
you run, anything you want to plug or promote?
Yeah, I mean, listen, one, if you're looking for a place to compete as a team of four, two males, two females, October 18th, 19th, Fight for the Fittest on Long Island, going to be the best and biggest competition in the Northeast. That being said, if you want to do Grid League, you want a shot at this, you know someone who does, send them my way. You can literally just DM the accounts that are listed below. You could DM the New York Wolves. You could DM me at Sam Krivit. Like I'll answer you right away, and we'll get you the information on how to try out for the team. Even tomorrow, anyone who wants to come down, I don't care. I don't care if it's your first week across it. Come down, hang out. It's all about having a good time and having fun.
Absolutely. Well, Sam, hey man, it's great to finally get you on and talk to you. Are you going to be Where are you going to be for championships? Are you going to
So
try to come
I
down?
I'm taking a business trip, and I will literally be flying down there the morning of and flying out of there the evening of, because I have an event the next day that I have to be at. So quick in and out of Florida, no big deal. But I got to see this live. Like I can't this on the screen thing. It's not cutting it anymore. So I'm going to see it live. I want to see how fast this really is in person. So I'll find you, grab your handshake and stuff like that. But I got to see this.
Please do, man. It's going to be awesome. I'm glad you get to see it live, whether it's a quick little trip or you get to stay for a few days. But I mean, you're going to enjoy it. It's going to be awesome. So
And then when we get our players all signed up and tucked in, I'll make sure to get them in touch with you, and we'll get them on.
absolutely, I'll schedule them. We'll get it going. Fico had one last comment. He said, "Fire, bro."
Yeah,
He's
this is
ready.
a dude. Pico, he was able to speak to me right away. He gave me a lot of really good insight, honest insight. And I see what he's doing, so I'm gonna follow right along.
Absolutely. Well, Sam, best of luck through the off season. I look forward to seeing you here in August for the championships, man.
And I appreciate you having me on and talking to me.
Absolutely. That is Sam Krivit, Director of Athletics for the New York Wolves. If you like hearing Sam's story or you just like hearing average Joe's talk X's and O's, please like, share the podcast on Facebook. Head over to YouTube, like, subscribe, notifications. That way you're first to know when new content is dropped. And it's been crazy. I got impact scores that should be uploaded here by the end of the weekend. It's a lot of matches, a lot of stuff to look at. So just be patient. It's coming. We got power rankings that'll be coming hopefully soonish. So be ready for that. It'll be the final, maybe not the final, but the final regular season power rankings. So be on the lookout for that. But another great weekend of grid matchups. Another great interview with Sam Krivit on the Grid and Grind Show. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. As always, remember, strong body, sharp minds, grid and grind all the time. We are out.